What's up, everybody? You see my dogs over there barking. They don't like it when they're locked up. So, how's it going, everybody? We're going to have to kick these dogs out because they don't know how to handle themselves. So, Brian Silva with How to Be a PJ. I'll give a second for everyone to tune in, and for everyone else, I'm going to just explain because it's been a while since I've done a live video, especially a live interview. But tonight we have a lot of people lined up for you guys to get information from. We have pretty much the head staff of SW Prep that's going to be coming out, including the instructor supervisor, the swim coach, head swim coach, head strength and conditioning coach, the head run coach, and possibly the head mobility coach, and the combatives coach. So we have a lot of people lined up to talk to you guys and for you guys to reference. So I'll go a little bit more into that whenever we get to that point. As far as who I am, like I said, Brian Silva, I'm the owner-operator of How to Be a PJ, and along with my wife, who does most of the actually heavy lifting as far as the computer work, making everything look nice, formatting it, making sure everything, yep, exactly, Coach Starch, making sure everything is smooth. So I'm thankful for her, and she makes everything run a lot smoother. So also, if you guys haven't seen on my story or my posts, I'm going to be opening up the Indoc Leader Event tomorrow at 1800 Central Standard Time. You guys can Google the time conversion and figure out how that applies to you if you're on the East or West Coast. But tomorrow, 1800, I'm really excited about who's going to be instructing on this. It's going to be a huge event with 5 different instructors, all different backgrounds. One's currently, he went through phase 2. He's going to be a Crow. He's in OTS right now. He was a PJ for 10 years. Obviously, another guy who's the instructor supervisor at SW Prep. He's going to be on here tonight. He's going to be talking about a little bit about the event. And then also we're going to have a guy who worked at the 24th SCS for about a decade. So he has a lot of experience and a lot of stories to add and help you guys out as far as mindset. And lastly, but not least, of course, Haney, who's been from the first event. This is going to be my 3rd event that I'm doing, but he's been with us since the first event, and he is an amazing swimmer, amazing instructor, and he will get you all the little finite details and every single type of skill that's going to help you be successful. So it's going to be an amazing event, and I'm really excited. Obviously, I'm going to be there, and we're going to go full bore, make sure you guys get the best training possible. So if you want to take a look at that, actually the link to that is open now. You can't purchase the program until tomorrow, but you can check out all the information about the program and what kind of stuff it offers right now. So you can check on right here on my bio, click on the link tree, and then that'll send you directly over to the page. So check it out. So like I said, I've been gone for a little bit just because you don't see this little scar on my neck. I had my thyroid taken out, have Graves' disease, so I had to take a little knee for a bit, and then obviously pay some attention to I have 2 kids, 2 dogs, wife, and I'm in physician's assistant school right now. I have a cardiology test on Monday, putting it off so that I can do this video for you guys. But yeah, that's a little bit into my life. So let me talk about what we have going on tonight. Like I said, we're going to have the instructor supervisor of the Special Warfare Prep, the new Special Warfare Prep, replaced Battlefield Airman Prep, the swim, strength and conditioning, run, and mobility coach possibly might be coming on here. So we're going to talk to them, see what kind of tips they have for you guys, and see what SW Prep is all about. So let me go ahead and bring on Thomas here for the first. Thomas is the instructor supervisor. Going to be the guy that's going to be an instructor at my event in December. So there he is.
What's up?
Chris Thomas.
How's
He's
it
been
going?
on here before, and super motivating guy. go ahead and tell them about yourself, tell them what you do, and a little bit about you.
I've been a PJ roughly 8 years. I was a reservist. So if you guys hear about being a reservist, you're a weekend warrior, but it's not true. I was on orders for roughly 7.5 years out of that 8 years. And then I decided, hey, let's go active duty. And then I landed here as an instructor. Through the foundation that I built as a PJ, I also own a business called Valor Med. It's doing really well. And I owe that to the discipline and the foundation that Pararescue has built for me. So I also have a wife and 2 kids, a 4-year-old daughter who's absolutely as crazy as I am. And then I have a 10-month-old boy named Nash. So Callie and Nash, crazy kids, but it's amazing to have them. So super happy and blessed.
Yeah, and the reason we bring that up too is like we're going to talk a little bit more later about instilling a mindset of being successful. And, obviously kids, it's not like we don't want to spend time with them. We obviously want to spend as much time as possible with them. But, we got to budget our time, just like you guys are doing school, you guys are doing workouts, family time. It's all about budgeting that time. So we're going to get into a couple of the questions here. So just straight off the bat, we'll talk about, just tell us who's out here, who we're planning on bringing on tonight, and a little bit about their background.
Okay, so I'm the instructor supervisor over at Special Warfare Prep. That's a new name, so get used to that. Everyone's been saying BA for so long, and it's really hard to transition that, but it is now Special Warfare Prep. We're also a group or a wing as well. So after me, we're going to put on Coach Michael Fisher, who is an Olympic swimmer. I mean, the guy is amazing, super motivating, and he is also one of the head coaches at Water Skills at BA Prep. And then we're going to bring on Coach Harrigan, who is the lead strength conditioning coach. And then we're also going to have another strength conditioning coach. His name is Coach Hook, who also leads the combatives, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and so on. That's something we added in for mental resiliency. I know that the run coach is coming, but he's running a little late. The traffic out here is insane. So, and unfortunately, Taylor Starch is not going to be here, but he does have an Instagram that he posts every day and talks about the exact same thing that he would talk about tonight. So you're not missing anything. Just find him out, Taylor Starch. So that's what we have for sure. S&C, the combatives. The S&C can also talk about run as well. They're very familiar with that. And then one of our lead swim coaches, and then me. So it's definitely lined up, and it's going to be a good talk.
Right. So let's see, before we go into this stuff, like I said, we're doing the event. I just wanted to get your take on as far as where you see SW Prep going. And a lot of guys are concerned with, like, should I solely rely on SW Prep, like show up, like I can pass the pass barely and show up? Is that good enough? What should I aim for? What are you guys looking for? What's the optimal type person that you can be like, oh man, all right, you're ready to go. I can definitely fine tune. I can definitely bring you up like this amount, or, what kind of candidate do you guys look for?
Man, you hit that right on the nail. So big picture, guys, I think a lot of people have the consensus that the Air Force is somewhat of the chair force. All right. I want you guys to realize that we're running and gunning with SEALs, SF, SAS. I mean, the whole 9 yards of whoever wants to be attached to us or we attach to. So you got to think about, we have to run and gun with the best of the best. So these courses are not easy. All right. So if you feel like you just barely passed a pass test, I want you to know that a pass test, you should wake up and be able to do 5 pass tests a day. That easy, and pass every single one, like legitimately. All right. So we see that a lot. As a guy will come to the pass test, or they'll pass a pass test with T3I or so on, and they won't take a pass test for roughly 3 months until they get to basic. So it's kind of on your own, guys, to have that discipline and keep that goal that you want to be a PJ or SAL-T, whatever it is, in mind, and remember why you're doing this, because I think a lot of that gap kind of stalls people, right? So they pass the pass test, they go to basic. Basics is kind of hard on its own. There's a lot of discipline there, and you get to work out with us every day of the week, almost every day of the week. And then you go to BA Prep. BA Prep is amazing. And I'll tell you why, is because if you take advantage of it 100%, yes, you can gain 15 push-ups. You can gain how to swim. These are the best in the world of what they do, from strength and conditioning, from I'm talking to NFL, ex-NFL players are here, linemen as strength conditioning. You have Olympic swimmers. You have guys who are swimming their 500 in 4 minutes and 20-something seconds, like crazy, crazy times. And they're putting their heart and soul into you guys. So you have to take advantage of this course. In my opinion, you need to be ready before you get there. Because myself and Sergeant Silva, we never had that. We had a couple websites that we found, or even on YouTube, and we busted our butt knowing the difficulty of what we're getting into, and we crushed whatever we could on our own until we got to Indoc. And this is just going to make it better, but do not rely on BA Prep.
Absolutely. And I think the most important thing is that it just shows a trend in mindset. If you're used to working out every day, if you're used to taking care of your body, making sure that you can do whatever's required of you, of your job, just like in any other job that you do. You show up on time, you make sure you're good at your job, you make sure that you know what is going on for the day. You're just ready to go, and your mindset is always focused on the things that you need to do and not focused on, man, I can't wait to get out of here. I just want to go and watch a movie all night and sit on my butt. You need to be proactive in everything that you do with your life, and that includes, especially if it's as simple as eating right, working out all the time. There's not really much to study for, guys. It's really just putting in the time at the gym. Other than that, you can go do whatever other things that you want to do. Hopefully you're getting schooling while you're waiting or something like that, something that's productive. But realistically, you need to just put in the discipline and gut it out at the gym and not eat pizza, burgers every night. You need to be eating correctly. So, and that's going to carry on lifelong, just like Sergeant Thomas and I, like we said, we're busy people, but we make time to work out. We make time to spend with family. We make time to study. He's taking college courses. He's an instructor supervisor of SW Prep, and he's got a lot going on, running his business with Valor Med. So all those things together, you have to have discipline for the rest of your life, and it's going to make you successful. So that's the kind of candidate that I see we're looking for, and I think Sergeant Thomas agrees on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said you guys have Bmt Pt Instruction. Can you just talk about that stuff a little bit, and how often you get to swim? Do you get to go to the pool? Do you get to just do calisthenic workouts, track workouts?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll also hear a little bit more from the S&C side about this, but I'm one of the lead instructors that will go to BMT from literally the first week that you guys get there. You will have your own block of time specifically with us, myself, TAC-Ps, here controllers very soon, and a Sal T. And we basically put you through an hour and a half workout, and we crush you for an hour and a half. And we teach you the correct form. We have the strength and conditioning coaches come out and help us. We talk about diet. We have mentoring sessions every Tuesday for the entire 8 weeks that you're in basic. So again, we're giving you all the tools for success, but what we're seeing in the candidates is, and it has nothing, I don't believe it has anything to do with the Generation X or millennials or whatever it is. I just think that there's a certain type of guy for this job, and I hope that there's going to be hundreds and hundreds soon, because that's what we need. But you have to dedicate 100% of yourself. Eat, sleep, play, breathe, either pararescue or whatever career field you want to be in. And we give you all the tools. We will tell you exactly how to succeed. You just got to listen and do it and fight hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, that's what I would tell every Indoc team and team that went through is just, you guys are here, you're in the dorms, you're going to show up for work, you live right next to work, just suck it up for freaking however many weeks it is. It's going to be, I guess, 8 weeks now, 8 or 9 weeks. So suck it up for that amount of time and put in the effort, every single day. every single movement you make should be focused on getting you through that course or getting your buddy through the course, because it's a team effort. Just like anything else we do in pararescue, it's a team effort. So focus on that.
I'll bring this up real quick, and I want you guys to kind of take this to heart, and it won't be very long. This will be 30 seconds. I want you guys to realize that everyone who's watching this right now or will watch this, there's a reason why you're watching it. There's a reason why you wanted to be a PJ, combat controller, TACP, or whatever. And the main reason is because you want to do something more than yourself. That's the bottom line. You're willing to put whatever it takes to get to a point of being able to save lives and help our country, but also you're looking to better yourself and build that foundation. Just a couple of years of your life of putting in the work will change the foundation for the rest of your life. When you're on your deathbed and you're sitting there, you're not going to be thinking, oh, I regret this. You're going to regret the things that you didn't do. All right? And when you get into this course, when you guys join Indoc or BA Prep, whatever, you don't want to leave there. And if you fail, say, I only gave 80% or maybe 75%. You can leave your head high if you put 150% of that and you fail. And you can be okay with going to do another job. But you will not be okay if you end up quitting or fail because you didn't put the work in. It's going to eat you up for the rest of your career, whatever job you do, because originally you wanted to do this job. So promise me to remember what I'm saying here, because it is going to eat you up. I've listened to hundreds of guys exit interviews, and they say this: I regret it. I regret it. I regret it. I regret it. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. We give you the tools. We're literally handing them to you. And it's your time. You got to remember, this is your time. The God has given you that path to where you're at right now, even watching this video. So that's all I got. That was probably a little bit more than 30 seconds, but.
No, it was exactly what people needed to hear. And just to piggyback off of that, like, I get people that are emailing me all the time, people that are coming to my events, and people probably that are watching right now that have been to Indoc, they recognize us, and they're like, man, these guys are right. Like, I want to go back to Indoc. I've been out in the Air Force, the regular Air Force, for only a year. I've only been out for a year and a half, or maybe even 5 years. But it's always in the back of their mind. They're always like, man, I tried out when I was 18. Maybe I was too young. I'm 27 now, and it still eats me alive that I wasn't able to do it. I want to go back. I need you to help me out and, help me on this path so I can correct the mistakes that I made when I was a little bit younger. So exactly what you said, spot on. And it's, you only have to put in the effort for a couple months, really realistically, a couple months of being a monk and focusing on everything. Obviously, there's going to be downtime later on in your career. You're going to be able to take a breath, but you have to suck it up every day. Wake up really early, eat right, and focus on your training.
Yeah, and that couple months is, they might fight. Right now, we have that glass ceiling. We talk about that glass ceiling you guys have right now. You work for 3 months as hard as you can. Every day you do something that's harder than the last day. That will then be your glass ceiling, to the point where you won't even see that ceiling. So then when you become a PJ and you go on your missions and so on, or whatever it is, man, you're there. And your foundation is now built way higher than it was when you came in. And I know that's what you're looking for.
All right. So I know we got a lot of people lined up. So let me go ahead and just ask a couple overview questions that I get a lot. So will prior service ever be allowed to go to SW Prep, or is that planned anyway?
So again, this is something we've talked about a lot. I'd say majority does want it. We do want it because you have that leadership in there. Just because you're a crow and you have a degree or you have your prior service does not mean that you know everything about what you learn on mobility, combatants, how to deadlift, how to do the proper pull-up, whatever it is, nutrition. You learn that stuff in SW Prep. So my opinion, yes, I would like that. But that's just something that, up at the ATC, the generals and so on, that's just the way it is right now. But definitely a majority of us want that.
Okay. So for right now, they're not doing it, but we're pushing for it. Obviously, like everything else in the Air Force, it takes a little bit to get things moving. So hopefully, I think everyone would like to see that. Everyone, the teams go through the same training to get to the same point, and they can, build some camaraderie and actually have the skills to go, because they're supposed to be the leaders. So yeah, I see exactly where you're coming from. And then second, do people quit at SW Pro, and why?
So right now it's the process is kind of long. We've had students who have quit, and once BA prep is done, then yes, you can go to another job. If things have changed, sorry, I'm talking to my swim coach. But that basically right now, you can technically, but the paperwork sometimes takes a little bit longer than we expect.
But people don't quit because it's so difficult or because they're too stressed out or anything like that, right?
No, there was a guy, and I think it was a few weeks ago, he ended up quitting, and he just, from the beginning, it's just not what he wanted. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Don't think because you quit that, it's okay. If it's not for you, it's not for you. No, we're not hating on it. It's not like we're like, freaking quitter. We'd never say that. None of us say that. It's very difficult. We know that. We went through it, and it's not for everyone. So, but remember why you're quitting. If you're quitting because you just don't have your heart in it, then sure. But if you're quitting because it's a little hard and you're not used to that, wrong answer. Like, yes, it's going to be hard and it's going to suck, but that's what you want. You want that. Mm-hmm. So it just builds more calluses for your life. It's like, that's what you want.
Yeah. You're not going to hang your hat on something that's mediocre.
Exactly. That's perfect. Yeah.
All right. I'll have a couple more questions and we'll talk about some stuff in a little bit, but I want to get the rest of the guys in here to make sure they get their time as well. Sure. So next up, you said Coach Fisher.
Mike Fisher.
Coach. Mike Fisher.
Yeah. I'll have him right here and tell you a little about himself. Thanks, Brian.
Okay. Yep. Talk to you in a bit.
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
How's it going? I talked to you a while ago. I remember you from, I think it was a year ago. I was at a past test or something. So, yeah, nice to have you on here. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on here.
No problem. I'm glad you were able to make it out, and thanks for making time on Saturday to talk to these guys. I'm sure that you have a lot to help these guys out with. Can you just give us a little bit of your background and kind of what your main jobs are over at SW Pro?
So I've swam for 22 years of my life. I'm still currently swimming. I helped start this program, BA Prep, Special Warfare Prep, day one. I swam 4 years in college, was conference champ 3 years in multiple events. I was 2012, 2016 Olympic trials, 2015 NCAAs. Moved down to Austin about 3 years ago to try and train for the 2016 Olympic trials. So swimming's kind of been my life, and everything having to do with it. Mainly at Special Warfare Prep, I mainly work in the pool. So we work on water confidence, so pool skills, buddy breathing, mask and snorkel, underwaters, treading, and then as well for the swim, teach them proper freestyle, a little bit of combat side stroke or CCS, and then a little bit of the breaststroke to help with the underwaters. So that's mainly what we work on while we're there. This is on Friday will be my 8th class that I've helped put through Special Warfare Prep. So
dang, it's already been that long? 8 classes? Jeez.
Yeah, June 5 was the first class of last year. That was the first starting date. Yeah.
Well, sounds like you definitely have a lot of experience to lend to these guys. I haven't actually been able to sit into any of your classes, but as far as swimming technique, obviously, there are a lot of guys who, like, they aren't sure if they should use the rocket fins, they should use the trainer fins, or they should just do straight up freestyle with no fins before they come in. Knowing what you know about the new course, or what if they haven't laid it out, then previous Indoc courses that you've seen, how would you suggest that guys train for swimming? Is it a progressive, like use no fins, use the trainer fins, then sometimes use the rocket or jet fins, or how would you suggest?
So basically, it really depends on your ability. I do highly suggest fins can be a proper training for proper freestyle. I do not believe I believe if you are doing freestyle, you should use the surface fin or the pro fins as we call it, like kind of the training fins. There you have Speedo makes them. You should use those because they're a little bit more giving and they're a little bit easier on you to get that proper technique to keep those kick going to help keep you on the surface. The biggest issue I've seen over the last 8 classes is just properly kicking with fins. So starting out with those pro fins and then moving to the jet fins. At SW Prep, we have a little bit of a progression here, starting with the pro fins and then moving to the jet fins to help with there. If you can, I would practice and look up how to do lead arm, trail arm, especially with the kick with the jet fins. Because when you start getting on the jet fins, a lot of people really do kick with their knees instead of kicking all the way from the hips instead. So they'll only be getting half strokes instead of being able to use the full momentum they can. With the freestyle, I highly recommend working with the freestyle and trying to progress using the fins to help you as well with that because it is a very key important part in the underwaters because that is part of the recovery on the way back. Some people think, okay, at SW Prep we do a lot of finning, but we still need to work on the freestyle because when you start getting down to those lower intervals, your recovery is that recovery swim. So you don't want to be going all out all the way back with the freestyle. So biggest thing I would say is I see in the past 8 classes is making sure we're getting down that proper technique, not keeping that arm out in front. And the fins help do that. Helps keep the arms. Most people like to use the arms, but you still got to use the legs too. Hopefully that's good enough information. So.
Yeah, and if you guys have also questions for Coach Fisher, then just put them up here, and then we'll ask them as we continue going. So you guys can put them up if you have a couple of swim questions. But I'll keep on going here. So you said the biggest thing that you use as far as things that guys don't prepare for or failures to pass is because they're not kicking from their hips and they're kicking from their knees. That's what you see predominantly as far as fins go.
Right.
And as far as the pass goes, when do you guys actually so you train guys in SW Prep to take the pass immediately following SW Prep, correct?
So when they get through BMT, they come in, they take a pass. And then the midterm is broken up into the 1,000-meter fin, which is also as well the exit eval.
Okay. But that pass that they take initially, is that like a go, no-go, and they can't continue in SW Prep, or is it kind of like we're trying to see where you're at so we can see what to focus on?
We're leaning more towards a no-go, no-go, as we get farther in and we get special warfare prep set up. Very important to be able to pass that. I mean, you have to start out on a good foot. I mean, with anything in life, you don't want to come in knowing that, okay, I'm behind the power curve coming in. So I feel if you can, before you come to BMT or before you come in, I would recommend at least swimming 3 days a week if you can. It doesn't have to be all out going to the wall. It can be just trying to get that endurance up. That's the biggest thing too. With my swimming career, I spent 2 weeks of just focusing on the drill technique, getting the technique correct for my 8 years straight in college and in high school. And I know it was still monotonous and everything, and it just really feels annoying. But the biggest thing is if you get that technique down, it makes a drastic difference later because as you're going through and you're getting in that tired phase and you're swimming, it's just second nature. If you're constantly doing something, it takes, 10,000 reps to become a master at it. You can't be just trying to rush through the stroke. You have to make sure we're keeping that nice technique going. So.
Yeah, I definitely tell guys all the time to spend as much time in the pool because, I mean, we know with pararescue training specifically that, I mean, most of the guys end up not making it because of the pool. And it's partly swimming, but a lot of it has to do with water con and like being comfortable with swimming and doing that proper freestyle technique, especially during 25-meter underwaters. The recovery is going to be crucial. Like you want to get back to the wall quickly, but you don't want to get back to the wall and struggle to get back quickly. You want to get back efficiently and quickly as possible.
Oh yeah.
So utilizing that stroke like he's talking about is going to save you breath so you can more time you have your lungs out of the water and you're able to just stand there and breathe and relax, the better you're going to be off whenever you're doing minute 30s or even less than that. So definitely a very important part of being a PJ. And as far as there's always a guy or two that ends up having trouble with treading, um, is there anything that you can like share, tips that you guys usually see, something that everyone can do that will help you if you can't get the egg beater down, you're only doing the scissor or the frog kick? What kind of things do you recommend?
So I highly recommend now. And I know from talking to a couple of the PJs over at Indoc, Sergeant Thomas as well, mobility is key, and being flexible is coming through. Okay. The biggest thing is making sure you get that hip mobility. A lot of guys will just think, okay, I don't really need to work on this. But if you are stretching and you're doing your mobility now, egg beater is all about kind of like sitting in a chair, kind of like we're doing right now. You have to be kind of comfortable and relaxed. Your knees have to come up. The biggest thing I also noticed too is more people don't get the motion down. And what I highly recommend too is just maybe 20 minutes you're stretching before you go to bed, making sure you're kind of doing the splits or kind of sitting on your ankle, like sitting on your ankles and sitting back, to kind of get that hip mobility inside. Another thing too, laying on your bed and practicing the, like Mr. Miyagi said, wax on, wax off, of coming with the right leg, counterclockwise, left leg clockwise,
Mm-hmm.
of just practicing with your legs. Go 10 right, 10 left, 10 both for 3 rounds. But you also want to, while you're laying on the bed, keep your hands up, because then that will correlate to keeping the hands up when you're in the water. I've seen progression of doing that, maybe trying putting 2 kickboards up on your side when you're in the water, and practice making those little circles while you're in the water, and then slowly dropping the kickboards away to try and help you keep your legs up and keep your hands up. That's something I
Yeah.
do, and I help. And I've taken a guy who could only tread for 5 seconds, all the way to being able to tread for 2 minutes easy. So if you're
Yeah.
just
What Coach
following,
Fisher is talk. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What Coach Fisher is talking about here is just, it's like a lot of the stuff we do in pararescue. We visualize, we get the muscle memory down, we do it hundreds and hundreds of times. It's not just treading water, putting in IVs, putting on tourniquets, putting on all these different things that you guys do. You need to make sure that you're able to do this blindfolded, in the dark, whatever the case is, but training your body and doing it over and over again, getting that rhythm down, because there are going to be a lot of guys. There's always at least 1 or 2 guys that show up for the pass test, or they initially pass the pass test, but we have to go into what was originally dev course, but now SW prep, and they don't know how to be in the water. They end up scissor kicking. They have that panic face. Their head goes below the water, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to have a really rough time. And I don't know how he didn't know that he had to tread water before coming over here. So we try to work with those guys, but by that time you only have a couple weeks. Obviously, I was an Olympian, so I couldn't teach him as well as Coach Fisher. But I think what you're saying is definitely valuable in a lot of things, and it applies to a lot of aspects of life. So another question. Go ahead.
If I could add one more thing with the tread,
Sure.
the biggest thing is also breathing. Okay, if you're constantly breathing really hard as you're trying to go through, instead of trying to maybe take a little bit more shallow breaths, to help keep your body up. That's something that I think people really get into, where they're thinking, oh man, I'm tired, or oh man, I'm trying to keep myself up. And so they start going, instead of going, keeping it nice and calm. That will help keep them up too. So, but, so I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And that falls back on spending time in the pool, being comfortable in the water. You know, like, I mean, I tell guys a lot, like, if you are available to go to the ocean, get crushed by some waves and go boogie boarding, like, that's going to give you some, obviously make sure that you're not by yourself and you're safe, there's a lifeguard, all that stuff. But just getting crushed by the waves a couple times, getting some water up your nose when you didn't intend to, and being under maybe a little bit longer than you intended to, because one wave comes, next one comes, you're like, oh crap, all right, it's time to get up. you gotta feel that panic in you. And then eventually you're just like, all right, I'm gonna roll with this one. Oh, here comes another one. All right, now I can go. So you end up getting comfortable with the water. As far as training goes, and you know, what kind of inspired you, can you give us a little bit of what kind of drove you? Obviously, you've reached a high point in swimming. You're an expert at it. And can you talk to us a little bit about what drove you to do that, and kind of like what your schedule was like? Were you, I mean, I'm sure you're doing jobs, you were trying to swim at the same time, and you're trying to balance everything, much like a lot of people that are trying to do this stuff right now. So can you give us a little insight onto that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll love talking about this because, I mean, as you probably know, and a lot of the PJs know, the pool is very, very mental. And with everything in my life over my career, it was all mental. What drove me the most was just, I had people who believed in me. I had coaches who believed in me. I had coaches who took the time out. But the biggest thing that drove me to try and make the 2016 Olympic team was just, I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to be done. I knew there was always more. My schedule for probably about 8 years of my life was wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, be at the pool at 5:30, train from 5:30 to 7:30, go to class. This was in high school. Go to class until about 2:30, then practice from 3 to 5, then go home, do work, do my homework, then write all over back again for like 4 days a week. And then on Saturday, I would practice from 8 to 10 in the morning. I missed countless parties, countless birthdays, countless vacations. I didn't take my first real vacation until after 2016. I gave up so much just because I wanted to achieve something mentally and physically. I knew this is what I wanted. And there were times, countless times, where I grew up in Michigan, and I checked my phone and the weather was -15 with a wind chill of -40. And I'm sitting there in my blanket and I'm like, do I really want to get up? And something I also put out, especially when I coach, is put your goal above your bed. Put your goal on your mirror. Because I would look up above me and I would see, I want to do this. I want to achieve this. And I'd be like, you know what? That guy's going to get better than me. Do I want to do this? Or can I take him there? So I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's get out of bed. Let's go truck the mile from my apartment to the pool. And in college, I would train 6 to 8. I'd go to class. I also would go to the airport to go fly. And so that took up time there. And sometimes I'd have to miss practice. But the biggest thing I would do is always try and make it up. I would always try and make it up. The biggest thing, too, is when I got into college, there would always be, you know, the temptations of people trying to party, go out and party. But you want to know what? I knew my goal. I knew what I needed to do. And there were times where I just got into practice and, you know, you just want to kind of go with emotions, right? You just want to push, I can easily fight through this. It's like, no, I need to do this because my coach asked me to, and this is what is being asked for. I have to give it my all right now, currently, and I don't want to look back and live with no regrets. Nothing. I don't want to look back and be like, you know what? What if I would have gone to practice that morning? What if I would have done this? What if I would have not done anything like that? And so I'm just very grateful for everything that's happened to me and all the opportunities that I have. I can't thank my parents enough for throwing me in the pool 22 years ago. And just luckily growing up around a pool where I had 3 brothers who we basically tried to drown each other anytime we could, and basically getting comfortable in the water. So, but
Oh yeah, it sounds awesome. Sounds like exactly what these guys needed to hear. Like, if you want to get to the top and you want to actually achieve your dreams, just like Sergeant Thomas said, you need to think about it constantly. It needs to be at the top of your mind all the time, not going out and drinking or chasing girls, guys, whatever you end up doing, whatever your preference is. But it should be that goal in mind constantly, and making sure that you did every single thing that you possibly can. Because I'm sure if there was one time that you slept in and you ended up losing a race, you're like, crap, it's because I didn't go and train when I was supposed to, or whatever. I'm sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
On that story, there was one point. I kind of like situational awareness, and you know how it's very important here. I went into a race and I actually swam in the wrong lane, and in swimming that counts as a disqualification. But I won the race, and if I would have just checked the paper one more time beforehand, I wasn't paying attention, and my team ended up losing the meet because I didn't swim in the right lane. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, that's no problem. Just simple things like that where you could have done a little bit better. So always give your all, because you don't know exactly what it's going to affect that one time that you slip up. And when you get out as an operational PJ, and those that are going to be Tech P, CCT, a little slip up like that means that the aircraft dropped the bomb in the wrong place. The patient's not going to get picked up because you went to the wrong area, so we have to fly around again and go to a different area, or put the entire air crew in harm's way because you messed up on the coordinates. So, like you said, little things, attention to detail is definitely going to be life or death whenever you guys actually do it. So, obviously, it's better to do it now when you guys are in training, but the goal is to correct that and for everyone to have the most attention to detail possible. So last question, and then I still need to make time for the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
Comparative to other athletes that you've trained, what are the main differences in your approach to training special warfare candidates?
So that's a good question. The biggest thing, my approach, honestly, I approach every student or candidate that anybody I coach the same way. As long as you give me 100%, I will give you 110%. Biggest thing I've seen the difference between guys here and my previous coaching experience is these guys want to be here. They want to learn. I will be a little bit tougher on these guys because I know what they want to be here, and this is what they want. They're chasing a dream. Okay, I'm very, very comfortable in the water. I want to help them be very comfortable in the water. And so if it's me kind of being like, hey, buddy, come on, let's go, like kind of giving them a go, I just approach it a little bit differently. I approach not everybody is being able to be coached the same way. So even I try and find out how they are, and I'll approach them. But mainly with the special warfare candidates, I mean, you guys have 8 weeks to prepare. Some guys have, like with other coaching, we had 6 months to prepare. And so we have to make sure that we are following everything down to making sure we're counting off right. We're doing all that. And so I'll harp on that a lot. I'll be like, hey, man, come on. Like, this is week 6. You should already know this. Like, kind of more by the books and all that. So, I mean, my biggest way I coach these guys is just trying to mentally prepare them. I feel like this is more of a mental. I try and focus more on the mental here, because especially with water confidence, I'll focus more here with mental, trying to get their mental game right than I would with trying to coach a person who's trying to make an Olympic team too. I mean, I have to have more time with them mentally to get them ready here than out there. Because, I mean, everything we do in the water is all mental, especially the buddy breathing, especially the mask and snorkel, because you have more air than you know. And your main focus for buddy breathing is to make sure your buddy can breathe. And that's what I try and focus on here. So a little bit about it.
All right. Last thing that, sorry, I said last thing on the last one, but this one's the real last one. So just one thing that guys can do to make themselves better and be ready to go. Biggest thing, whether it's treading, whether it's doing the kick from the hip, or training with someone, or if you have some resources, just something that these guys can dig into and look at for improve their swimming.
My biggest thing that I would say when you come in to try and be more water is just water confidence. Spend more time in the pool. Get used to being comfortable being uncomfortable, because in the pool, the pool is the only place where we can take your breath away. When you run, you can breathe mainly as much as you want. When you ruck, when you do S&C, you're breathing as much as you want. There's always getting that tightness in here as you're going through. That's something I think people just need to get used to. Just fin, especially with A&S coming up. Make sure you're finning. Get your legs strong and work on the proper technique. Just always be thinking on the technique instead of thinking, man, this sucks. Think about, okay, I need to make sure I'm keeping that kick nice and big, kicking from the hip. Okay. We got the run coach here too. So.
Okay. So thank you very much for shedding your wisdom. Amazing resource. Do you have an Instagram or?
Yes, I do.
anything?
It's I got an Instagram. It's RFISHE11. That's my Instagram. More than welcome to follow me. And if you have more questions, you guys can reach out and I can more than happily answer them. So I love teaching and I love helping people out. That's what I feel like I've been here to do. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, especially on a Saturday night, and I appreciate all you do for the special warfare community. It's still weird calling it the special warfare community.
I know. I catch myself saying BA prep all the time and battlefield airmen. So.
Yeah, and you are an extremely helpful resource for the guys that are going through and the guys that are training right now. So definitely take advantage of Coach Fisher's expertise in the sport and in swimming in general. He's an awesome resource. So thanks again for coming on, and I really appreciate you shedding some light on this stuff.
Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. I'll go grab, I think we're having Coach Harrigan come on next. I'll go grab him in a second. Okay. So thank you again for having me.
All right. Have a good night. So everyone keeps on asking, I see this question a couple times, what is Indoc versus Special Warfare Prep? So Special Warfare Prep is going to be the course that is immediately following basic training, and it's replacing BA Prep. So now you go basic training, then you go to Special Warfare Prep, and then you go to what's going to be called Assignment and Selection, or A&S. Following that, you're going to go to the pool pre-dive type of stuff.
Maybe pop a knee, I guess. How's it going? I'm Dave Harrigan. I'm your head strength and conditioning coach. And this is Joe Hook. He's also one of our strength conditioning coaches.
All right, Joe and Dave, appreciate having you guys on. I'm glad you're able to make it out to Sergeant Thomas's house.
Absolutely.
And I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say, especially about what you guys got going on as far as the programming, as far as things that guys can do, or weaknesses you see in guys coming into the program. So if you don't mind, we'll just start by a couple introductions, just, where you've been, what your main job is at the course, and what you guys' day-to-day type of duties are.
Sure. So I went to Springfield College in Massachusetts. graduated from there in about 2012. And around that time, I was doing a bunch of different internships. I was at the University of Florida, did athletes performance in Gulf Breeze, which is actually where we met. We did an internship there together in 2012. And that was working with operators as well as NFL Combine and NFL offseason. So we kind of, formed our, I guess, philosophy at the same time together at that location. And then I ended up doing a couple more internships, getting into baseball. So I worked for the Arizona Diamondbacks organization for 3 years. I did that for 3 years, and then I went to the 26th Special Tactics Squadron out at Cannon Air Force Base. I did an Exos POTIF contract out there with that unit. I was there for about 18 months, and then ended up getting linked up with this program through the chief that I had met at that unit. So I've been here a little bit over a year. When I left the 2-6, they would ask me for a good replacement. So I called up Joe. So if he was available, and he came out and replaced me. So he was there for about a year, and then he ended up, once we had an opening here, we brought him on here. So we kind of worked together a lot on the programming and setting it up, and really just trying to get these guys ready to have the best chance, at least physically possible, to pass the pipeline, whichever one they may be going into. Try to develop that physical and mental resiliency. So
definitely. And I'm from Arizona, so appreciate your work with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. And did you guys work together prior to this? I think I missed that. You guys have been strength and conditioning coach?
So, I actually, so we worked together in 2012 with Athletes Performance as interns.
Oh, okay.
It was there when we were working with combine athletes. We were working with guys coming back from injuries since they were attached to the Andrews Institute. And then we worked a lot with operators on the educational side of things, which was a program that we called the mentorship. And then we worked also with a group called the Eagle Fund, which was returning injured operators back to the career field or back to operating. So after that, I actually went back home to Cincinnati, where I'm from, and opened a business that was primarily geared towards veterans and law enforcement. Then after I think it was about 3 or 4 years doing that, Coach Harrigan gave me a call, asked me if I'd be interested in replacing him at the 26th Special Tactics Squadron. Did that for a year, and then we wound up linking back up together here at Special Warfare Prep. So we've always closely worked together for the past, I'd say, about 6-7 years.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome that you guys have that relationship and you're able to still knock it out, work as a team together, and get these guys in shape. So you guys mentioned that you trained a lot of professional athletes, a lot of other guys in high-profile positions. Obviously, military, we're not super high profile, but we're here to kind of do a job. So what kind of differences do you see in your training as far as when you're scheduling the training for an airman versus when you're scheduling a training for one of the pro athletes? How do you adapt to that situation for these guys?
So I would say for a lot of times when you train an athlete, it's very specialized. Like a football play is going to be a certain length of time, and exactly how long that's going to be, how many have a rough idea of how long the game is going to be and stuff like that. So you can train much more geared towards that specific type of conditioning, that specific type of strength, right? You're going to train more towards that absolute power, absolute strength end of the spectrum. But when you're training a tactical athlete, whether it's like an operator at an operational unit or it's one of these guys just getting started now, we want to have them really kind of be 80% good. I call it the 80% rule. We want to be 80% good at kind of everything along that physical characteristic spectrum, right? Between a marathon runner and a powerlifter, right? Because you could be anywhere, on that spectrum at any time, whether it's on an operation or training exercise, whatever it may be, you're going to have to be able to ruck with a certain amount of weight over a distance, or you may have to lift something heavy, but at the same time, you might have to walk 25 miles straight. So you got to be able to do everything along that spectrum, which makes it really important that guys in these career fields are able to kind of check their ego a little bit, instead of only working on what they're good at, also kind of be working on those characteristics that are your weaknesses, like being willing to acknowledge what those might be and work on them ahead of time would go a long way towards helping you kind of prepare for this kind of career field, I think.
I think also, to add to that, especially with our program, the duration of training that a trainee takes part in throughout the day. For example, on our strength conditioning days, guys are doing a session at the pool, they're hitting a run or a ruck, they're coming to us. We might have team building, which is another kind of physically challenging activity. Just taking into account the total overall load the guys are taking in throughout the day, how they're going to be feeling by the end of the week, kind of understanding that they're going to be doing stuff in their pipelines that are long duration and long duration physical challenges. So, we might have to adapt our strength conditioning sessions. For example, on a Wednesday, we might do no lower body because of how beat up guys are feeling on Mondays. And our course, our goal is to kind of build people up and send them out to their COEs instead of, just kind of trash them all the time. So we have to take into account, the physical requirements of those things, and also the variances in training age. We get guys that are anywhere between, 18, 19 years old to, high 30s, and everywhere in between. They have all different kinds of backgrounds, guys who were former athletes, guys that are really outdoorsy, guys that just got out of a desk, So we have to account for all different kinds of people and try to make our program a little bit more geared towards the type of guys that we get in per class. So we're always adapting our program based off of the training days that the trainees go through and how they're responding to it.
Yeah, and I think what you guys said about guys liking to practice on whatever they're good at, because I used to see it when I was an instructor at Indoc all the time. Guy can do like 30 pull-ups or something. It's like, holy crap, this guy's destroying that bar. It's always like perfect pull. He's like pausing up there and he's doing all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you take him out on the track, or you take him to do a swim or something else, and it's just like, holy crap, this guy is like sinking real fast, and he's not able to do anything else besides pull-ups. So I think, what was it, Arnold Schwarzenegger? He had small calves, and he was always like, every time I go to the gym, I work out my calves. Why? Because my calves suck.
Yeah.
Sure that I work out my calves. So I think the same thing applies to, it's not a complicated subset of workouts or calisthenics that we're doing here. It's push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. So, within those categories, if you are good at one, then hey, take it easy on that, and then go work on whatever you're good at. So speaking of that, what is the most common thing that you guys see trainees are deficient in whenever they come out of basic training? Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, or overall strength, not being able to carry their buddies or carry some type of weight. What do you guys think that people should probably beef up, or they might have a gap in?
You want to start?
Yeah, I think, the number one number that we have that's low is push-ups, for sure, with guys coming in. And that could be one of two reasons. That could be either an issue with the actual physical fitness, just not able to complete. Our exit standard is 55 push-ups in 2 minutes, or the issue of a technical error that's getting them no counted reps. We find that there's a lot of different ways that people do push-ups. Oftentimes people will do repetitions where we call leave their hips behind, or they're pressing their upper body up and having accentuated curvature in their lower back, which is basically what we would consider not completing a rep. What we want to see is the trainee's spine stay in one plane of motion the entire range of motion. Obviously, we want to see them break 90 and lock all the way out at the top. We find that a lot of guys come in with technical errors and kind of get themselves off based off of that, so they have miscounted reps. A lot of what we do training guys for testing for push-ups is teaching them how to pace themselves correctly. So in
Hey
our
guys, just real quick, this thing's gonna cut us off here in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to get back on. And
Perfect.
all right, Instagram always does that, cuts me off after has it been an hour? All right, it's been an hour already. Time goes fast when you're having fun. All right, so we'll get this, the guys back on here. We'll start talking about it. Definitely appreciate these guys taking the time out of their nights to talk to you guys and give you guys as much information as possible. Hope you guys are finding it. Beneficial. And I will definitely. Yeah, you guys like the decorations, by the way. It's Halloween. I'm gonna have a Halloween party at my house here next week, so we kind of go all out and decorate the. I'm not gonna show you the rest of the place right now, but it's kind of messy. But yeah, we go all out and make it look nice around here. So this thing my wife found. It's actually called Game of Bones. I like puns around here. So anyway, let me go ahead and get these guys back on here, and we will keep on. We were talking about the most common thing that guys are deficient in when they first show up to SW prep. So he's talking about push-ups, and there we go. All right, back on. You guys hear me?
All right, we're good.
Cool.
Somehow.
So
All right, good. Yep, go ahead.
yeah, I'll just pick up right where I left off. So we get a lot of guys who kind of need coaching on the pacing of their reps. So they'll come in, they won't hit enough in their first set, which sets them back for the rest of the 2-minute block. In our course, you can A-frame coming in and out of your push-ups for our exit assessment. So we teach guys to not waste any time going in and out of the A-frame. If you're going to take a rest, you go directly into the A-frame or you hit the next rep. We teach guys to not resist so much on the way down on their push-ups. You get a lot of guys that do slower reps, the more tired they get. We coach them to go faster the more tired they get, because we just want them to knock out fast reps at the end so they're less fatiguing. Also, we get a lot of guys who come back out of the A-frame and they go for single push-ups before going back to the A-frame. Our rule of thumb is if you have one in you, you have two in you out of the A-frame. So we always teach doubles. And those double reps at the end really make a difference on your total number. So some guys, we have guys not so uncommonly increase from anywhere below 50 push-ups to in the 70s once they understand just how to pace the exercise, as opposed to kind of coming in and not being conscious about that. So with push-ups in general, we have a lot of guys that we say, if the pacing's wrong or the strength's wrong, if the strength's wrong, then we're going to come in, we're going to have them doing more weighted pressing exercises to increase that relative strength. So the challenge of a push-up itself is much less.
Yeah. I think going back to kind of the whole work on what you're bad at thing, push-ups tends to be a huge ego exercise. Like when I was at the unit, I remember putting push-ups in a workout once, and I was like, wow, these are terrible. And you go and try to coach operators on the fact that they're doing bad push-ups. They are not very receptive.
I've been doing push-ups my whole career. I know how to do push-ups right.
Yeah. You know how many thousands of push-ups I've done? I don't need you to tell me how to do a push-up. You know what I mean? So that's something where if you're, slated to come in and you think you're doing 75 push-ups, maybe that's something you videotape or you have your friend look at very closely. Because there's a lot of people that come here thinking that they're legitimately doing 75, 80 push-ups. And then what happens is they do the initial and they get 35. And then, they get 40 missed reps or whatever. So with that being said, we also see a huge jump from our biggest jump in push-ups is from the initial test to the midterm test, just because we're cleaning up so many technique issues, and it's a subjective thing as well.
Yeah, and what you're talking about, that whole thing where you come in and you think you have so many push-ups. I did the exact same thing when I first came in. Yeah. I didn't have any resources or anything. Like, I did 110 push-ups on my basic training test at the end, because I was like, doing that thing.
Yeah.
And then I I got to Indoc and it was like 60 something. I was like, what? No way. Like,
Yeah,
doing so
yeah.
many.
Well,
Like,
40-year
you know,
reps didn't
and
count. Yeah.
yeah, it was like, you know, I didn't know any difference. And hopefully the people out there, you know, take it to heart and actually practice the standards. So standards, as far as you guys know, are still the same for the past. They're not going to be changing or anything like that.
So
That you guys
yeah,
have heard.
they could change. They might not change. You got to be ready for anything right now.
Yeah.
With the way it's kind of all getting formed. I mean, there's still so much. I mean, there's so much happening that we couldn't tell you about. We don't even know. You know, there's so many variables that you can't possibly account for. I think you just need to. If you're coming in at that PJ pass standard, you're probably okay, but you may as well make it so you can do 60. That's because it could get changed to that 2 classes from now. It could. You just don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much
You
fluidity.
definitely don't want to just barely make it.
Yeah, and there's so much fluidity in what the system is right now that to take like a guess, like a conservative, you know, you don't want to go conservative on your estimate on what you're going to need. You know, because if we could get guys coming in here with 60 push-ups each, that would make so we could do a lot more things in strength and conditioning that are more geared towards, I don't want to say like operational fitness, but like kind of like loaded carries, things that are much more relevant to like operational significance, I think.
Things that maybe like guys will see later down the road, or lifting time on the worm and stuff like that, where we're able to spend a greater amount of time doing more quote unquote fun stuff in our sessions. But with that being said, we still get to a pretty decent amount of that stuff as well. So,
no.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with the operational stuff. This is what guys should be focusing on, and my workouts that I have guys get a sandbag, whatever, tape it together, carry that around a little bit, and do some freaking farmers carries and do that kind of stuff. So definitely agree on that stuff. So I want to get to a couple of questions before we bring on the next guy from you guys specifically. As far as obviously you said push-ups are the biggest deficit. How much do you think like nutrition or other sleep habits are going to affect push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, all the realm that you guys work within? Just want to hear a little bit about your ideas on nutrition and sleep hygiene, that kind of stuff. As far as recovery, what guys should be doing, something that can improve them, help the recovery, or
I mean, with the amount of volume of the stuff you're going to be doing, you're going to need to make sure you're getting good sleep. When you're in like the later stages of sleep, that's when your testosterone is secreted. That's when your human growth hormone is secreted. So if you're trying to like repair from all the work that you're doing, it's absolutely vital when you're on this type of training schedule that you're getting the sleep that you can get. And then really on the nutrition side, I think that, going back to the push-ups, a lot of the guys that can't do push-ups aren't, some of them it's technique, but some of them just have not done a lot of upper body pressing, and they haven't developed the really muscle mass in their, shoulders, chest, back. So if you're not eating enough and you're doing tons of aerobic work, it's going to be very difficult to develop that musculature. So, we're not dietitians, we have dietitians there, but I mean, I think that before you get here, if you could come in with more muscle mass, like up top, if you're like a skinnier cross country guy that's great at running, then I would probably make sure I'm eating some more protein and working on maybe some upper body hypertrophy workouts, strength and hypertrophy.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like a lot of people think that there always has to be a body type for everybody to get through. But like you said, you bring it up, like we want you to be well balanced. Like if you're not able to pick up a dumbbell or carry something in your arms like this, carry something on your shoulders, then obviously you need to work in that spot. But it's not about weight or anything like that, like what specific weight you are.
Yeah.
I think functional capacity
Yeah.
A lot of our students actually ask us like what kind of guys usually make it through, and from our standpoint, it's like at the unit that we've been at, and what we've seen, there is no body type. It's all a mindset, right? It's all a mindset.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. So last thing, if there are any resources, or if you guys have your own Instagram, or if you guys have something that the guys can look up. Obviously, I have my programs and stuff, but something specifically for maybe like calisthenics or things that you think might help guys to prepare. Is there anything out there?
Yeah, I mean, we post a lot of kind of videos on our Instagram stories. That's what they're called. Yeah. Instagram stories. So I mean, yeah, you could throw our handles up there. Man, I liked your site. I went and checked that out today. That was pretty good. Aside from that, for calisthenics?
We don't. Yeah, I guess we don't have any standardized.
Real quick, what is your Instagram?
Mine is
So I can throw it.
Yeah.
You mind if I throw it up here so
Yeah,
you guys can
cool. Yeah,
reference it?
Yeah. It's D Hair, so HDHARR 37.
Okay. Got it. All right. So, and what was the other thing you guys are talking about? You were going to say there was another resource?
Oh, yeah, probably Joe's. Or your website, or, man, there's a T3I website that's supposed to be up too. That's that company that we're contracted through. We're going to be putting up videos there as well, but I think that's still in the works at this point.
Sure.
Okay. But actually, if we could just type Joe's handle into this right here, I think.
Yeah, you guys should be able to do that.
Joe.
Definitely. And Joe, did you have anything as far as things that guys can take away and how they can, approach SW Prep specifically with calisthenics?
Sure. Yeah. I think, like we were talking about before, having people videotape you and critically looking at the way that you do things, not just doing them. I think that's a key part for guys, becoming more conscious of the process that you're taking behind each calisthenic test, just being in general more conscious about your training. Going in with a plan. I think that's the biggest thing that we see with guys is they come in without a plan of how they're going to execute the cal blocks that they have, or how they're going to set things up for success. When we get here the first 4 weeks, we're really training guys to be a little bit more disciplined mentally with the way that they approach training. And I think that some of that can be taken care of earlier, and some of that has to do with just kind of taking that self-accountability in the beginning. But I would highly recommend, have someone watch you do your push-ups.
Yeah,
have someone watch you do your pull-ups.
You could send a video of your push-ups to us, and we'll tell you if they're good or not, or what to fix on, or tag us in or whatever.
Yeah. Makes our job.
And with that, make sure you guys are open to criticism all the time. Like, you guys that are out there training are, not the expert. You guys are starting. It's not to be expected that you're the expert in this. These guys right here that I'm talking to are experts in their field, and they're good at teaching you guys how to do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. Make sure you're, strong and conditioned. So listen to these guys, and at any point in time, if you're going through the pipeline, going through BMT, going through any course, you should always take criticism and implement it. Like, don't be one of those guys that's not trainable and you just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. All right, you don't want to listen, then that means I don't want to keep on trying, because there are, 50 other candidates that are out here that are actually going to listen and implement the things that these guys are saying. So be trainable and be humble enough to know that you're not doing stuff right. So listen to these guys. So definitely appreciate you guys coming on here and taking time out of your night to help mentor these guys and give these guys some tips for the future. And I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of these people down here that are watching this video down over at SW Prep. So when you see them, say hi. And when all you guys see them, say hi and thank them for doing what they do. Definitely very valuable to have guys like this on the staff at SW Prep and helping out with the instruction. And I'm sure that everything as far as numbers wise and everyone getting through is going to be better for you guys being there. So I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you for having us on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll
Not a problem.
We'll send in at least one run coach, maybe two.
Okay, 1 or 2 run coaches.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys.
Coaches
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's pretty awesome, like I said, I keep on saying this, but that these guys are out here and able to talk to you guys. If you have, big questions, or if you want to go, most of them have said already, put up their Instagram. You guys want to go and talk to them, ask them questions, very valuable resources. Obviously, I'm also here to ask any questions that you guys have. So I'll always respond to you guys, but I do not
How's it going?
mind. How's it going?
Good. My name's Daniel Bell. I'm one of the run coaches at SW Prep.
It got black or dark there. I don't know if you covered up the camera or something.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to ask Sergeant Thomas.
All right.
It's
Yeah, so like I said, I'll always answer you guys' questions, but it's always, I don't mind anybody getting a different perspective on anything. Some guys learn from one guy, other guys learn from, another person in a different way, so, because they say it differently than I do. So any way you can learn, my goal is to just make sure you guys are good to go and you have the best training available, the resources available to succeed. Oh, there we go.
How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Again, I'm one of the run coaches at SW Prep. Daniel Bell. Nice to meet you. What was your name?
Nice to meet you. I'm Brian Silva. So I was an instructor with Thomas about a year ago, and I'm in PA school right now. But I appreciate having you on here and taking time out of your night. If you don't mind, just giving us a little bit of your background and kind of what your daily duties are at SW Prep.
Background-wise, I'm obviously a contractor coach. I coached at the NAI level after I ran as a student athlete through the NCAA for a couple of years. I was Division II up in Michigan, then went down to Kentucky to coach as actually a sprints and hurdles coach. Prior to that, I was a club cross-country coach that did a lot of distance work and moved through the ranks and tried to help out as much as I could with the local college I was running at. And then I actually went down to South Carolina from there to coach at a Division II program as the head sprints and hurdles coach at Coker College, small Division II program. Got a ton of school records, ton of things that put me up on the board for people looking out. And this summer just kind of, wanted to do something different, but still wanted to stick with human performance, and found it was prior to SW Prep, it was BA Prep, Battlefield Airman Preparatory School. Mm-hmm. Down at Lackland Air Force, went through the huge interviewing process. It took 3 to 4 months, and finally got on staff about 3 months ago. And I'm here to kind of help out with our run program, which is obviously the 3-mile timeout test, which is at the end of our 8-week course. And we work with the time limit of 21:21 for that 3-mile. It's subject to change depending on how things go, but right now that's what the standard is.
All right. Well, that definitely does sound like a pretty long hiring process, 3 to 4 months. Hopefully, it wasn't too rocky, but I definitely appreciate having you on. It's been a while since we actually had that I know of a actual run coach at Indoc or within the Battlefield Airman community as a whole, because I remember when I went through, there was one guy who was good at running. He wasn't specifically a run coach, but he was one guy that was good at running. Doc Baumgartner. I don't know if you ever met him before, but so what's your approach to specifically running within the SW Prep, knowing that there are all these other requirements of water confidence, of them being able to ruck for CCT and TACP, and trying to find that balance and not get them hurt?
Yeah, right now we're rocking, we got 8 weeks and we only run around 90 miles total on our whole program, probably a little less even. So we try to keep it around under 100 per class. We found some errors when we were above that 100 mark. We were seeing a lot more injuries occur, so we kind of dropped that back. A lot of our early runs are pretty low-key LSD runs, which is low, slow, or light, slow distance. And that being said, it's just kind of, we go 8 to 8:30 mile pace, pretty much starting out for those runs. We keep on the track in the very beginning just to keep with harping on the kids about form and working with those 4 things that we teach. We teach posture, we teach lean from the ankle, from the chin. So just think about your ankle leaning from the chin, that whole body going forward with that gravity moving you forward a little bit. And we also work with the midfoot. With that midfoot strike, a lot of guys here, you hear the heel striking in the midfoot. There's a lot of science is backing up that midfoot strike being more biomechanically efficient. And what that'll do is make you run faster and make it even safer to do so. What's that? So we got the lean, the posture, which is just your upright, chest proud kind of a stance. You got your midfoot, and then we have that cadence. So cadence is really big with our program. It's 180 beats per minute. That's how many times we want to hit the ground. With that, that 180 actually allows us to keep injuries down, because if you think about it, to create momentum and to create that acceleration and keep moving, you're trying to put force on ground. Newton's third law, every action has the equal opposite reaction. So the harder you hit the ground, faster you go. But we don't want to hit the ground too hard because we're trying to conserve our knees, right? But if we're able to hit that ground more often, then all of a sudden we don't have to hit the ground as hard, breaking down that impact on our knees and our ankles and such. And then that midfoot comes into play when we're talking about where we take the impact and where we hit. Instead of that knee, we rocking the muscles and feeling fresh through our legs instead of getting hurt. And that right there makes mileage a lot safer. And then, then you, like you're saying, they can go to their swim, they can go to their S&C, they can go to combatives, all that stuff, and feel a little bit not as worn out necessarily. So again, in the beginning of our program, we rock a lot of LSD runs, not a lot of crazy workouts or anything, just trying to get the guys used to getting their time on feet. From there, then we start doing a lot of timing workouts. Nothing's too crazy. It's just a lot of learning that 21-21 pace. Rarely do we go faster than that 21-21 on repetitions, maybe a 400 or a 600 or even a mile repeat. Yes, they'll go faster, but we're not talking 5-minute mile pace by any means. We're talking controlled 630s or 640s, 650s kind of a talk. And we have obviously Alpha Bravo Charlie groups, so we have different abilities, and we kind of locate the trainees according to their ability and what we think is valid for them to improve on and be able to hit. We don't want to set anyone up for failure and put them in alpha and have them try to hit times they're not ready for.
So it's definitely difficult, like you said, to kind of tailor it. Like you said, you have to take off a certain amount of mileage per month. 10 miles within a small period is relatively like a minute amount of running. But so a lot of injuries you guys see are obviously shin splints with running. That just comes with the territory. Is there anything that guys can do? I know I get so many questions about, hey, I saw the new Hokas, or I like to run in minimalist shoes, or I like to run in this, I like to run in that. So what's your take on, like, first of all, just what they can do to reduce shin splints, and are the shoes the biggest thing in there, or what do you think is the biggest factor in reducing injury?
Reducing injury is just having that confidence and volume. So just having guys come into prep prepared. Don't come into prep with nothing done. Come into prep ready to do prep work. We don't take people from 0 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour. I'd say we take people from 40 to 100, not 0. And those guys usually taper off and fall off the pack a lot of times because of their injuries. So you could be a really talented guy that thinks that you're really tough and you can grit anything you want, but at the end of the day, if your skeletal system can't take it, it just can't take it. And so with that, simple exercises like kind of if you're able to stand up in your bedroom and play the drums with your feet, 10 sets of 5 maybe at start, 10 sets of maybe only 10 sets of 3 really, where you just kicking the drumsticks, or sorry, not drumsticks, but the bass drum with the heels. So you just stand up or sit down on a chair and just lift your toes off the ground and click them up and down. It's going to flex your shins pretty hard and get some volume. Other than that, natural running, just getting time on the feet. I mean, if you can go out and go for a run at 8:30 to a 9-minute pace, for 30, 35 minutes, if you can get that daily, up to that daily, of course, that would set you up for SW prep pretty smooth. Just taking that volume, we can get you to the speed if you can take the hit, Our Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie can eventually hit that 21-21. It's just the guys that aren't able to sit in all the workouts that are not hitting it.
And the shoes?
Yeah, shoes. Good one. So 2 of us out of the 4 on the running staff actually have managed running stores. I've managed a running retail store, and so has another guy. So we know everything. We get those guys in day 1 or 2, and we look at their feet individually, every single person on the treadmill, and we write down what shoe they need to get, and we go and we get them. And we have our connections, so they get here and they're probably wearing whatever they had from BMT, and we set them up with successful pair of shoes that'll work for them. Yeah.
Okay,
with
so
that,
Garrett, go ahead.
Yeah, there's 3 different types of shoes. There's stability, neutral, and motion control, and they all have different jobs. It's kind of like you go to the car dealership and you really want a pickup truck to be able to pull a lot of stuff, but you end up buying a sports car and you're angry at the car for not doing the right job, but you picked the wrong one. There's not bad shoes and good shoes. There's just shoes for you.
Cool. Yeah. So, Garrett, best thing to do is definitely go to whatever kind of store has the treadmill test with a camera, or is there like a different test that you think
anyone that's willing to,
or just
anyone that's willing to give you a gait analysis, that's solid. I'll tell you a really quick thing to do is stand up on both your feet, look in front of a mirror, and then balance on one foot. From there, you're probably going to see where your ankle kind of naturally tilts when you grab that weight from that one foot. That one foot standing on the ground with all the weight is giving you a snapshot, a freeze frame snapshot of your running form, because at some point on your run, you're always going to be on one foot, of course. And you're going to see how your hip and your knee and your ankles sit. And if you see your ankles sit inwards, so this is your ankle and it sits inward like that, you obviously need a stability up to a specific person to know how much stability, because there's not just stability, neutral, motion. There's different levels of each, and that's where going to a running retail store helps a lot. But you can do it from home, and you can, know what you need. Top brands are going to probably be your Brooks, Saucony, and New Balance. We really like Brooks. Brooks really work out with a lot of guys, especially going through the pipeline, trying to get something that lasts. Brooks are going to last for a while.
Yep, that's what I wear too. Love them.
I'm not hearing you real quick.
Yeah, I love the Brooks as well. For everybody out there that's asking, yes, 21:21 is the 3-mile time that he was talking about. And then also, as far as I know, you talked about the posture and leaning forward and the way that you're striking on the ground. You kind of do the heel strike, do the mid sole strike, and then as far as breathing goes, how do you recommend guys breathe? Because there's a couple people that say different things on breathing.
Yeah, I can kind of hear you. I think
important.
your mic got away from you, but I'm hearing talking about breathing.
Yeah.
Bottom line with breathing, it should come pretty natural. It's not as vital as swimming, of course, but with guys with running, to be honest, we really just tell them, if you're thinking about it, it's that's not what you should be thinking about. We got to worry about form, worry about other things. Your breathing should be coming natural.
Okay. And last couple things are, as far as running goes, what would be the optimum amount of mileage / average pace that you would want somebody to be able to perform, like optimally, if they showed up
Before coming in?
Before coming, yeah. So you can actually train them to a standard. Like, you're comfortable, if this person can do this and this, then I could get you to that next level.
Right. I mean, you'd be surprised on how slow guys come in and we still get them there. I think we have a really good staff that really puts out a lot of work for individual kids / trainees. I call them kids all the time. Sorry. But we do a good job. But I mean, if someone was coming in at 8 flat to 8:30 for a 3-mile run, smooth conversation pace, being able to just talk and run with that, 3-mile, we can train them at that point. We try to stay away from those 9 flats to 9:30. It gets too slow. We're just not really getting that change and physiological change of their VO2, of course. But I mean, it can be done. It's not necessarily what we like to see, but if you can keep with that 8 to 8:30, that's most of our LSD runs throughout the whole 8 weeks. We're not really pressuring them to run any faster. We just really don't want anything slower than that 8:30. Depending on the time of year, it could get a little slower. We have charts, of course, for when we have 105 degrees out. We have our paces change because it's just as vital to change your pace in heat as it is in altitude. So, if you got a guy running at 8:45 up in the mountains of Colorado, like, he'll be all right. A little different than running down San Antonio.
With that being said, though, guys, if we don't change the days of the evals, so when you get to the actual,
What was that? Sorry.
So with that being said, they still got to perform whenever it comes to test day, and they're being evaluated.
Yeah, of
so
course.
It's just going to be at a little bit
doesn't
earlier.
Change.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, guys. And then last thing, people keep on asking on here, what is the longest run you guys do while you're in SW prep or in the new ANS?
Yeah,
if you've heard
our longest LSD run goes out to about 5 miles currently. Yeah. We're trying to get that switched up to about 6 miles.
Okay, so about 6 miles is what you should be prepared for. And then as far as what's one thing that you think guys can do right now that will be the most beneficial and give them the highest amount of change in their run? So
that time on feet, I really think it's important for guys to come in and have that ability to train. Don't go out for fast runs, go out for quality timed runs. I'm more impressed with guys that can hold if they can hold up to a 45-minute run, those are guys that can really train. And it's not just going out for a 45-minute run a day or once out of a week. It's being able to do that, maybe 4 or 5 days in a row. That'd be over-prepared. That'd be a guy coming in like, I know he's going to make the 21-21. Mm-hmm. But if he can hold under 8:30 for, 30, 40 minutes, I know that's a solid candidate right off the bat. Because it just means you're going to be able to train with us at the end of the day. Because anyone can come in on Monday, the first day, and run that run and feel great. Tuesday, maybe even so. Wednesday, you start seeing guys like, oh, my knees kind of hurt. Oh, my shin's kind of hurt. And it's because they could pass the 1.5-mile test easy because they could gut it out and grind their teeth down. But, their longevity of their joints weren't really there still because they trained for 1.5 miles and they didn't train for the volume.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing that, the approach, I think, if you guys are just kind of getting off the couch, if you guys are just, you haven't really run before, you haven't done any track, you haven't done anything like that, keep an eye on injuries because, like you said, shin splints are very prevalent. We don't want you guys to just start running 6 days a week whenever you first start out or anything like that. So do you recommend breaking it up, like you're going to do Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and a long distance recovery maybe on the weekend or something like that? And then in between, you do some kind of alternate type of exercises, or guys that are just starting out, what do you recommend?
Guys who are just starting out, so let's put them, 18 years old. Let's say they didn't really do any sports in high school, coming off, mostly playing video games and hanging out and seeing what they want to do in life. I would say, 3 times a week, let's go out for a 20-minute run. It starts Monday, Wednesday, Friday. From there, you start your watch and you go to 20 minutes. You don't run 3 miles and get done when you hit 3. It's 20 minutes no matter what. You got to go run. And that kind of helps them sit back a little bit, kind of find their pace that they can hold, and it's a little bit more of a mature pace. And then from there, if they're not feeling any pains, maybe 2 weeks later start, maybe doing that 4 times a week. Instead of upping the time in total, maybe just trying to time on feet over 4 days, 20 minutes a day would be really helpful. But at the same time, I'm a big believer in those 35-minute to 40-minute runs. I think a long run should be, 45 to an hour. That'd be very, very solid. And that's just because aerobically, a 21-21 3-mile, that's what it all is. It's not really anaerobically, which just means you're not really sprinting for a 21-21. People need to understand that they need to put that base mileage down, which is just nice and, talking and going for a while, which is kind of the same theory as like you don't want to power lift before you build a lot of strength. You need that strength in order to do the power lifting. You don't really want to do a lot of speed work where you're running around the track really fast and taking break and getting back on it if you don't have any of that mileage, because that mileage is your strength base. That's where you're pulling all your ability from. And so that's where, guys in the NCAAs all summer, they're running 100-mile weeks, 110-mile weeks to get ready for those fast workouts in the fall. So, for guys coming in the pipeline, they don't need to do that, of course. They just need to come in maybe a month to 6 weeks of, I went from a total of 60 minutes a week of running to the last 2 weeks I did maybe 150 minutes, a little over 2 hours worth of running for the whole week, 7 days, and that would really set them up for success because we would know they wouldn't become injured on our program because we're really not stressing the body that hard. We're just trying to make sure they can hit that 21-21.
Yep, that's it. Well, so last thing, I've been asking the rest of the guys, any resources out there, or do you have your own Instagram? Guys can ask you questions, or somewhere that they can go to get some kind of other running questions answered.
Let me make sure my handle is the same as I thought it was. I made it very easy so that way recruits back when I was coaching the NCAAs could contact me. But my Instagram handle is just Daniel_James_Bell, just my full name.
Daniel_James. Oops. All right. Underscore, what was the last part again?
Bell, Bell, Coach Bell.
Okay. Got it. All right, I'm just going to put this up there. Looks right. And I'll leave that up for a little bit.
Yeah, I have a lot of guys that ask me questions. It's not a big deal. I respond pretty quickly. I still have my last year's kids, my 2 years ago kids. Plenty of runners ask me questions, whether it's about marathons or the 100-meter dash. I've coached it all, really, and that's why I'm down here. Love it down here. And when you come to SW Prep, it should be a positive experience that you'll gain a lot. Just be ready for the volume because you're doing, you wake up, you run, you swim, you lift. And sometimes you got to do some extra push-ups in between from a sergeant.
That's right. Don't mess up. I'm going to make you do some freaking push-ups, blooded kicks, arm circles. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on and helping us out with the guys that are getting ready for prep. And running is obviously one of the core events that they need to be good at whenever they first get here.
If you want to talk about ruck as well, we do that. I don't know.
Oh, you guys teach the.
Yep.
Okay, you guys teach a ruck as well.
Didn't want to forget about that one.
Sorry, I didn't know you were also the rucking coach. You just said running coach, so.
Yeah, sorry. We do that every Friday. That's kind of our end of week thing. We go up to 4 miles of a ruck. We just did that this past Friday, which is one of my favorite days because I ruck 8 miles that day, but we had 2 classes. But they get up to about, we start them with no weight, just their rucks and their extra set of ABUs and I think fins. What else is in there?
Just normal training gear?
Yeah, it's normal training gear, and it's right around 25, 30 pounds, I'd say. And then they start on about a 2-mile ruck. Then we go for a 3-mile ruck the next week. Then we add weight within week 4, and then they get up to about 55 pounds of weight total. It kind of varies per student. We put sandbags in them, but taller guy has bigger fins. It's going to weigh a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, but solid rucks. We hold 15-minute mile pace for all of them. Get the Jodies going and go for a little ruck.
And longest ruck that they need to be able to do right now is still 6 miles, or are we going up to 8, 10?
At the end of the SW prep is 4 miles that last Friday.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you heard anything so far about the next course, how long that ruck's going to have to be?
I haven't heard any official news on what they're rucking. I know that their paces vary a lot compared to ours. Ours is our very 15-minute. That's what we're going for mile pace.
Okay.
Most of the guys we encourage the walking, but we know that from us they jog it out quite a bit at other places. But at SW prep, we really don't like to see them run because they're doing a whole bunch of volume that they're not used to, and we don't want to add that weight on their joints and pound it down the ground.
Yeah, definitely. And I think along with the running, that rucking or just walking with some kind of weight, even if you don't have the money to buy a ruck. I mean, I remember I had a cheap backpack that I just kind of fashioned together and put some weight in it. But just having the experience of walking and getting your body used to it, it's going to set off different muscles. Yeah.
I think some of the biggest things you can do, I mean, obviously 21-21 on that 3 mile is really important, but once you get all those basics down, you can accomplish the standards out of SW prep, start thinking about rucking, because I'll tell you, that's a huge part of the pipeline throughout the whole thing. And, if you're not able to ruck, that's kind of your job. So it gets to the point where, I'll see guys that are struggling on that 3 mile ruck with a 50-pound pack, and you're kind of like, that's going to get heavier down the pipeline. You're going to be moving faster. You gotta suck it up right now. And you're going to go out a lot longer. Yeah, they go out a lot longer. I've heard some crazy distances at the end of the pipeline, of course. So everything is linear. As soon as you get used to what we do, they up it, and then you constantly are challenged at that same level of challenge. Just 2 years later, you're maybe doing a 15-miler, and you're not thinking that's long anymore because you've been doing 8s to 10s instead of 2s to 4s. So,
your body will get used to it.
Yeah. All it takes is everything you got.
Just got to lay down the groundwork, keep on going after it day after day, hitting those milestones. Your body will adapt. Definitely.
I would suggest, though, with that ruck, with the training before coming to SW prep, maybe getting, 2 to 4 rucks in by yourself, just going out for maybe, just go out for a 30-minute walk with a backpack with no more than 25 pounds on it, just to see how it feels. I know that when I first started here, I had never rucked in my life, and I threw about a 25 or 30 pound, and it felt just right. As an experienced runner that had never really experienced shin splints, because I ran 100-mile weeks before in college, I had a little bit of shin pain after that first ruck that was only 2 or 3 miles. So it's a different beast, and just because you can keep up cardio-wise doesn't mean that your skeletal system can take it always. So just be aware that your shins are different than your lungs, and just practicing that at a 15-minute mile pace. No need to run, just kind of really brisk walk. It'll take you a long ways, and you'll be excited to get here and get on our first ruck.
Definitely. And wear boots that are above the ankle. Don't go walking around in tennis shoes. I see so many guys, like, they think they can just go up a mountain and wear freaking normal things without ankle support. and you guys are just opening yourself up for injuries. So wear proper boots too.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. No. All right. Well, I want to make sure we have one more guy, right? Or did he not make it?
What was the modality?
Um,
Swim, ruck, run. Strength and conditioning, obviously.
Yeah, we did the strength and conditioning. I guess Starch, he didn't make it, right?
Oh, he did not. He's mobility.
Oh, okay, so, right. That's it then, right? Yeah, I guess I'll get Thomas back on here, and we'll wrap things up. But I definitely appreciate you coming in here and talking about all the run stuff, the ruck stuff. And
no worries.
3 months into it, I hope you're having a lot of fun with the students. I love being an instructor, and these guys are definitely like one of a kind. They're always motivated and always good to just be around that type of mentality. That's just, they're always ready to go. So I appreciate you coming on again, taking time out of your night. Definitely. This is invaluable information that you're giving to these guys, and definitely, putting in your time. So thanks again. And you guys can scroll back up, check out his Instagram, and hit him up if you have any questions. Definitely appreciate you doing that as well. And hopefully I can have you guys on here again.
All right, yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Hit me up with any questions. I love them. I love talking to beginners, love talking to experts on running.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
All right.
Have a good night. Okay. So if you guys are just joining and you haven't seen what's going on, I've been having the guys from SW Prep. They're cycling through. We started with the head instructor supervisor. We went on to the swim coach, head swim coach, who was an Olympian and did a lot of awesome stuff over there. And then we went to the strength and conditioning coaches, very extensive background, teaching guys. And then we went to, I was just recapping the guys, and then we went to, obviously, the run/ruck coach, and talked to him. So now we're going to have Sergeant Thomas again. He oversees and supervises all of the civilians that are in SW Prep. He's actually going to be going back to Indoc very soon as an instructor again. So when are you going back to Indoc?
You hear me?
Hello? Yep, gotcha.
All right, roger that. For some reason, it was really low on volume. All right.
So I was just catching everyone up on who we were talking to and what the whole dealio is about that we were just going through. But I told people you were going back to Indoc, so to watch out for that mustache whenever or going back to ANS, watch out for that mustache whenever they actually get over there, because there's going to be hell to pay. So when are you going back to ANS, I guess it is called?
I just heard recently that I will be, I got orders to go somewhere else, and I couldn't. Well, orders as in like here to somewhere else. So I'm thinking it is ANS. There's no other place to go. So yeah.
Okay.
I spent some time at SW Prep, about 8 or 9 months. So
you did your time over in the non-training. You ready to get some body breathing in, get some elbows?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what ANS is going to be, and how it's going to make the career fields better.
So are we still sticking as far as the official word on what guys should be training for right now? I know that we're not trying to like put out anything that's super unofficial, but as far as expectations, guys should still be hitting Indoc grad standards, or is there anything else?
Yeah, so obviously Indoc grad standards is a baseline that we've used for years and years. And my opinion is to come in with at least grad standards. And the reason why is because why worry about cows? Why worry about the run? Like, these are things that you guys should come in that should be, oh, we're doing a run? All right, I can take a little bit of mental break.
Got it.
Like, that's the way you guys should think. The hard things is, oh, we're doing 10-ups in full ABUs. all right, this is something that I can't practice on my own. This is where that glass ceiling is going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to break through that. Or a ruck that you don't know, unknown distance, unknown time, go. And with, 50 pounds on your back, like it could be 10 miles, it could be 20 miles. It doesn't matter. You're willing to do it. But the other stuff that you can control, you need to be good at. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, especially if you're going to be in a position of, higher than E3, then you should definitely have all that stuff solid, and you shouldn't be actually having to worry about yourself at all, especially during land smoke sessions. You should have your head up. You should be in shape enough to have your head up, looking around at your team, looking around at where the instructors are at, looking around at whatever as you're dropped, doing push-ups. You're always able to just take whatever they throw at you. You're the last one to be smoked on anything. So definitely, so grad standards is what we're still shooting for. Is there any more talk about like a ruck being standardized or a longer fin or any of that?
So yeah, we've had talk about that. Definitely in our meetings, nothing solidified yet. You can definitely say that you're going to be rucking. I wouldn't just practice a 1 mile ruck. Learn more than just how to ruck. Learn more than just rucking, but look up how to ruck. Go to Ranger Handbook online. Look up, talk, to different people who ruck, especially Army. You can read about it online. Pick their brains. There's a way to ruck. And for example, like Sergeant Silva, he's my height, maybe like an inch taller than me, but yet he can ruck way better than me, and it's just because of his form. So it does take practice, So there will be a long fin from what we're hearing. So just be prepared for that. Practice finning in the pool with ABUs on. You're never going to be out in operational world not wearing a uniform. You're not going to be in Speedos and So just prepare for that. Get comfortable in uncomfortable situations. If you wake up and you say, I'm going to do 5,000 box jumps, something you've never done before, and you just do it, and you feel like quitting at 2,500, and then at the end when you finish 5,000, that's just another level of who y'all never quit that you're going to have under you. And I always talk about like the time where the most miles I ever did in my entire life was at Indoc, which was a 10-mile run at the end. And when I got here at Indoc, I started running with them once in a while, and they were there when this happened. I was like, all right, waking up, doing 25 miles, never ran more than 8 miles. And I did it. And at like 13, 14 miles, I was like, man, this really sucks. And then I ended up finishing, and it just kind of puts you back in that check. Like it lets you know that, hey man, if you put your heart into it, you're going to make it. You just got to believe in yourself. I believed that I was going to do it. So I did it.
Yep. That's it. Just one foot in front of the other. Just like, I'm going to just keep on doing this until it ends. I don't know when it's going to end because I can't even tell what mile I'm on anymore. But I just know that one of these times it's going to end, and I just need to put my foot right there. Next one, next one, next one. I'm not thinking about mile freaking 20 whatever. I'm on mile 10. I'm thinking about this right here. Exactly. Right in front of you. Keep on going. So definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I forgot to ask you whenever we talked last time was I just wanted you to clarify for everyone right now in SW Prep, are the guys CCT, SALT, PJ, are they all in the same class? Are they getting different training or living in different areas?
No. So TAC-P, SALT, PJ, CCT, you guys are all living right next to each other. It's not like a bay of PJs, bay of CCT. I mean, you literally are sleeping PJ, and then next to you, to your left, or to your left is, to your left over here, is a CCT, and then you have a SALT to your next to you. If you have a black team, a silver team, right now we're going to have to do 3 teams because of the large class of like 150 guys. It's all mixed. It's just 10 PJs, 10 CCT, and 10 SALT and controllers, and you do everything together. WaterCon. Some guys are stronger. You'll be in different groups. I think you guys heard that from Coach Fisher. Other than that, you guys are doing everything together, and that's our main goal, is possibly the future of the Air Force is to have our own team like that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get that on like another video in the future. That's a whole other topic about where the Air Force is headed, or the career fields are headed. The special warfare career field is headed. So definitely we'll get that in another video for sure. But so just to kind of wrap things up, anything else while we're talking about this and SW prep that you think guys should know that they don't know? Something that you want guys to show up like they need to be acting like this, or they need to be freaking whatever, because I'm tired of them all showing up like this or not doing this.
I'll tell you the truth. I think just over the years of people being able to complain about things that happen at BMT, IG complaints, whatever it is, if you even watch, airforcerecruiting.com, whatever it is, people are saying that BMT is a little bit more lax. It's not as disciplined and as hard as it used to be. So I think after 8 weeks of that, it becomes habitual. But you got to realize that us instructors over there, remember how we went through, we don't play that. Like straight up, we just don't. So like when you get there and your discipline's messed up, you're going to pay for it. And guys, say 90% of guys catch that right off the bat. They're like, okay, we're here to play and we're going to lock it up. But there's that 10% that don't. So don't be that guy, because if you're that guy, your whole team pays for your actions. You're a team now. Mm-hmm. There's no individualism. So that's the one thing is you guys need to realize that, you got to lock it up. You're in the military. You're in trying to do this specific job, which is a lot different from other jobs out there in the Air Force. And we instill discipline and situational awareness, et cetera, et cetera. But also the main thing is just taking what you guys are seeing right now, 6 months to a year out, and really writing this stuff down and taking it and using it. We talk about, look up your nutrition. Like, how is your diet? Like, are you hitting at least a pound of protein per your body weight? If you weigh 180, you're at least hitting 180 grams of protein. Like, that's how you're going to grow muscle. Because when you hit Indoc, you're potentially going to be losing a little bit of muscle because you're burning more calories than you're eating. So you can't afford, if you're trying to hit, 70 push-ups and you come in, you can't afford to lose anything. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So you have plenty of time and every resource right in front of you. There should be no excuse. That's just my opinion. Unless you get injured, other than that, I just don't see it.
Absolutely. Guys like you, guys like all the coaches that came out today and are willing to help all of these people. Like, it's an amazing resource that, just wasn't around 10 years ago. So I think everyone should take advantage of everything. I mean, all these guys are willing to talk to you. Like they said, ask them any questions. If you have a specific thing, all these guys have been proven. They've had an entire career. Myself and Sergeant Thomas have had an entire career of pararescue. We've been instructors for a long time, and we're passionate about it. We enjoy it. That's why we're right here right now. We're spending our Saturday night talking to you guys because we care about you and want you guys to do the best. We don't want you guys to get injured. We want you guys to have the mentality that you're going to never quit whenever the shit hits the fan. And people that we've worked with before, our brothers that are out there right now, you're going to be fighting alongside them, and we want you to be reflective of what we see is necessary in a pararescueman, combat rescue officer, TACP, whatever your goal is to be. We want you guys to be that. So, so talking about that, last thing I just want to mention, and I mean, this might take a little bit, but just the event that we are putting on. And I'm bringing on more instructors like you saw. You guys can go also check out the page. It's live right now. You can't purchase a reservation in the event yet. That'll open tomorrow at 1800 Central Standard Time. But right now you guys can go check out the instructors that are going to be at this event. I mean, we have myself, Sergeant Thomas, Sergeant Ayers, who is another instructor supervisor, Sergeant Haney, who's really good at being technical and making sure that your swim form, your run form, those aspects are on point. Ayers is also going to be a crow. And then we have another guy that was in the 24 Special Tactics Squadron for almost a decade. So we have just pretty much the entire, I guess, any variation of pararescue / combat rescue officer that you would want in a cadre. And this thing's about to kick me off again, so this is our second hour. This is giving me a countdown to 20 seconds. So let me just get back on here in a second, and we'll just finish this conversation out. We only have a couple more minutes. Right. All right. This is the marathon of live videos. Thanks for everybody who stuck with it so far, and those that have been taking in all the information that the coaches and everybody on here has put in today. Definitely put in a lot of time to just come and talk to you guys, and we want to make it the best experience possible. Hopefully we answered most of your questions as we were going through. I tried to ask them the most common questions, but realized that they only had I was trying to get through all these people. So I know you guys also have lives, so I'm going to put this up on YouTube after we're done here. It's going to take a while because obviously these are big files, so give me a little bit and I'll put it on as soon as possible. So yeah, like I was saying on the event, so you're coming back for the second time. This is only going to be my third event as far as how to be a PJ is concerned. What do you think about, hello, can you hear me? You're getting all frozen up. So what do you think about the event, the way that it's set up, or as compared to the way Indoc or ANS selection might be? Do you think, how did you see an improvement in guys?
Well, it's funny because one of the guys had left. We had that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, and then he went to basic on Tuesday. So I saw one of your guys there that week, and he's just locked in. I think that's the great thing about this is that every one of us, as instructors with How to Be PJ, has been an Indoc or an instructor, and we run it just like Indoc, exactly how it's going to be. So you guys are definitely going to feel for at least 2 full days of what it's like to be at Indoc. It's a great opportunity. It's never happened in the history of anything before this last couple of years since the birth of How to Be a PJ. So it's an advantage that if you want to be a PJ, that it would be almost idiotic not to take. That's just my opinion. If I had that stuff before, man, I would have crushed Indoc to an extent. So yeah, take advantage of it, guys. You got everything. There's no reason. If you want to be a PJ, you can be a PJ. You just
and it's hard for me because I'm not like a salesy type of person. I mean, if you know me for years, I'm not like a guy that's like, hey, you can buy this shoe shine kit. It's the best shoe shine kit around. I'm not a guy that's like, I'm going to sell you this pen or anything like that. And it's hard for me. I'm also not the kind of person that's like, hey, look at me. I'm important. I'm like, whatever. Like, I mean, I don't really, honestly, I've never actually enjoyed getting a lot of attention. I enjoy helping people, and I enjoy seeing people be successful, which is why once I stopped being an instructor, I wanted to do this because I wanted to help you guys get ready. I saw too much people not actually ready. So, I poured my heart and soul into this program and making sure that it's the best program, because the reality is you guys that are watching this right now, especially if you've been watching for this whole 2 hours, are the guys that are going to be out there, guys and girls that are going to be out there, and you're going to be helping our teammates, all of our brothers. Sergeant Thomas and I have seen too many people. We've been to too many funerals, so we don't want to go to any more of those funerals. We want those guys, you guys, that are going to be out there protecting our friends and our brothers and making sure that they can go home and see their families, to be able to do that. And it starts with a lifelong habit of being dedicated to whatever your craft is, being dedicated to the mission, and being dedicated to each other and ready to go whenever you're called, because it's going to be random times. But we want you guys to have the mindset and the tools to be ready for that. And that's why I don't know what any other event is like, but I guarantee you my event is the best opportunity that you have. It's like if you were going to go freaking interview for the most important job of your life, the thing that you wanted to do, and you had an opportunity to test it out and then have no repercussions for blowing it. Like, even if you don't do well, I'll tell you what you messed up, and I'll tell you, Sergeant Thomas, he's going to motivate you and tell you exactly what you're messing up. Like, straight up, right there. You're going to get team feedback. You're going to get the ability to just see what it's like to fail or watch somebody else fail, or, you know, just experience that whole gamut. So, yeah, I'm really lucky to have a guy like Sergeant Thomas, because like we said, he's earlier in the video 2 hours ago that he's super busy all the time with his kids, his business, Valor Med. Definitely check them out. He's doing great stuff too. He has a video of his 3-year-old daughter throwing a tourniquet on him. So obviously he's really good at training and what he does. Check out his website, valor-med.com. Doing a lot of good stuff here in San Antonio and Texas as a whole. So definitely lucky to have him on here. Anything else that you can say, wisdom to impart before I let you go?
You know, good luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I mean, I'll leave you with that. You guys can create your own luck. You know, I always see this where they're like, people, like, it's almost like they become reserved during these courses. Like, I'll start trying then, or I know I'm kind of quitting today, but I'll not quit tomorrow. That, you think that's going to happen, but you are actually conditioning yourself to quit every time something gets hard. So let's say you sneak through BA prep and then you get to your COE. It's not like you're going to all of a sudden be that guy that you were trying to be, because the last 8 weeks you were quitting on every event, or you were just not pushing yourself. That's where you're at. You're conditioned to that point. And now we're going to throw you into something harder. Do you feel like you're just going to automatically turn into that Superman that you go in the phone booth and come out with a freaking S on your chest? It's not going to happen. So just remember that. Start pushing yourself from day one. Challenge yourself. That's why you're here. You challenge yourself. You got all the way to this point, and it would be a shame for you to just waste that time and all those resources. So other than that, guys, I think I'm proud to be on here, and I'm happy that every one of you guys potentially want to be pararescuemen, and I hope all of you guys make it. And with the resources today, and especially how to be PJ, you have more of a chance than anyone prior to you. So do your thing, work hard, take care of yourself, right nutrition, right diet, and your mobility. Watch out for injuries, get enough sleep. Be smart about this, because you're just like a professional athlete in your own way. Like, this is not easy on your body. So do what you got to do now before you get to that point. Other than that.
All right. I appreciate you coming on again. We'll keep on talking, and I'll definitely see you again in December. Actually, before then, you're coming over here for the party, so
yeah,
that's why the decorations are up. If you've missed it,
yeah.
We're having a party next weekend.
I'll
so
see you.
Yeah, I'll see you. Yeah, like I said, that thing's called Game of Bones.
Game of Bones, nice.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you next week. Thanks again for coming on. I'm going to stay on here for a second and just talk about some stuff.
All right, Brian. I appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. All right. So we did our marathon of going through all of the staff, the key staff at SW Prep. They had a lot of information. Like I said, this video is going to be up on my YouTube channel. Give me a little bit, because it's like almost 10 o'clock and it takes a long time to upload these videos. So give me a minute to make sure that I got everything down and ready to go. I'll post it sometime tomorrow or the next day, because I'm studying for cardiology tomorrow all day. So I'll put this up on YouTube. Also, you can check out, we were talking about rucking and stuff. There's videos on YouTube about that as well that I have. So check out all that stuff. check out the website. Make sure that you're looking at the Indoc Leader event. You can click directly on the tab via my link tree right here on my bio, my Instagram bio. So you can go check that out. All the information that I laid out, there's pages of information about the event and specifically what it offers, a lot of the instructors, and listing them out. So I will definitely answer any questions you guys have on that stuff, but check it out. The link will be open 1800 Central Standard Time tomorrow. I really, like I said, I pour my heart and soul to this thing, and I want it to be the best event. It's not, I guarantee you, if you're trying to be a PJ or even TAC-P, CCT, whatever, this is not a waste of your time or money or anything. I'm not about that. I want to make the most valuable training for you guys out there. So thanks again for you guys who watched this entire thing. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys following me. As always, you guys can hit me up for any questions that you guys have. Emails preferred, but I will answer questions on here as well. You can find my email also on my link tree. And thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon, and hopefully see you guys in December for the event. Also, just be cautious. It sold out really fast last time, so if you are thinking about doing it, then I'd probably jump on top of that. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys later.